Today's Wednesday, September 13th, 2017.
You're tuned in to the Elevator Radio Show, a weekly program dedicated to covering news and information on elevators, escalators, and moving walkways. Produced in the wee hours of the morning, a new show is uploaded every Wednesday, sometimes even before you get out of bed. Listen to some of the comments sent in from our audience.
Rob from New York writes, Tom, are you f***ing insane? You actually get up at 2 a.m. each Wednesday to put this show out? Man, you must love elevators. Tim from Illinois writes, I'm not sure why I listened, but ever since I tuned into the first show back in 2007, I've been addicted. Matt in Texas writes, I like your safety messages, Tom. It's important to remember them each and every day. And he also adds,
when am I going to win the monthly prize pack giveaway?
Ron from California sent this in. Despite your inability to pronounce words in the English language, I tune in each week and am glad that you offer this service to the industry. It's better than Google News alerts. Sarah from Washington writes, love the show, Tom, and look forward to it each week. I'm glad I signed up for the newsletter. You provide a valuable resource for the industry, not only for North America, but worldwide.
Enjoy the show. And now, here's your sleep-deprived host, Tom Seibert.
Thank you, everybody. It is good to be here. It is great to be here, actually, and be alive. And for all of our listeners and friends and family down in Florida, I am grateful that Hurricane Irma was not as bad as it was. I've already been in contact with many of you, and you have reported that you are okay. Your property is damaged, but it's going to be rebuildable, and that is the important thing. I'm so grateful that it wasn't as bad and it lost power as it moved into the state. I'm just so glad to have seen that. I mean, it doesn't take away anything, the death and destruction of Florida or the surrounding islands or other areas, but the reality is that Mother Nature is a powerful force, and it's not something that should be reckoned with. So in any case, I'm glad everybody's okay, and like many of you, I'm sure the ratings from the Weather Channel and all of the reporting was through the roof over the weekend. So I'm glad everybody's okay. As many of you know, it did postpone the convention when the NAC sent an email out asking, what they thought about what people thought. I guess I'm not sure who they sent that to regarding moving the convention. Is apparently the feedback that they received. And their advisory board, their staff, they decided to move the conference, if you've not already learned, to next week, I believe, starting Saturday and going into the following week, and basically, and they moved the location to Atlantic City. Now, at the time, you think, my gosh, it's a hurricane that's bearing down and basically going to be shoved up Florida's behind to some extent, so very difficult, to imagine anything other than, the safety and well-being of the family members and friends that we have in our industry and in Florida, especially after, what we've seen happen in Texas, which is just as significant. So anyway, I am not going to be at the Atlantic City event, unfortunately. But what I am going to be doing, the 10 by 10 booth that we have, and this is already set up, 10 by 10 booth that I have, what that costs to purchase, the travel, the hotel, all that stuff, that money that would have gone into the show is being donated to the American Red Cross, and it's going to be around $9,000. So to give you an idea of the impact of that, I truly feel that the money spent on that is huge, and I think it'll be better served in that capacity than me attending the show. So, and I wish the show the best. I hope they have a great turnout, and I know it's been an extremely difficult time for them in trying to rearrange and try to recoordinate and all that. So I totally understand. I want to thank everybody, the sponsors who have not dropped out of sponsoring the event. It's grateful that you are continuing to support that. I will not be at that, unfortunately, either. And I wish everybody a great convention and trade show next time. You'll see me. I'll be at the Wisconsin Elevator Symposium for that event. Looking forward to that. And everybody have safe travels as you guys go around the country. I'm kind of running out of time. I do want to say, do a quick shout out to the Elevator Riders Riding Club, who are currently on their annual ride, not annual ride. It kind of ties in with the convention, which was not going to be held in Florida, obviously. So they're actually going around the wonderful Lake Michigan, and Glenn's been sending me photos. I'm looking forward to seeing those. I'm looking forward someday to joining them, and that will happen someday. I just don't know when. So someday I will be there. Anyway, it is a show that has fewer articles on it worthy of sharing, and they are definitely worthy of sharing. It was a tough week, not only in the United States regarding weather, hurricanes, but also in remembering the 9/11 memorial, the 16-year anniversary, which doesn't seem like 16 years, and also there was a fatality in Canada that we'll get into, which is just terrible. So again, putting things in perspective, the death, devastation of the hurricanes that have hit the islands in the United States, just expensive. It's just, they're big. They're just, it's a lot to take in. So it's just been a tough week for everybody. So let's just get through this and see if we can, look forward to days when we're not being tested so difficultly. So anyway, up next, we'll get into the news, have you out of here in no time. And please feel free to share the articles that you think are worthy of sharing, especially if they help in the line of safety and making sure those you work with are safe and those that you may know in the industry are safe as well. So that is huge. All right. So next up is the news of the week.
Let this week's news stories give you a lift on what's happening in the vertical transportation arena. Each news segment is organically dug and fresh with news stories of the week. Got lift? If not, stay tuned.
You know, I've never been to the World Trade Center Memorial or the Oculus, and I'm really looking forward to seeing that someday. But as we all remember 9/11, we will never forget that day. We will never forget what we were doing that day. We will never forget those that we know that may have perished during those tragedies that unfolded, and we will continue as a country to fight terrorism and those that are trying to, disrupt our way of life to innocent men and women and children who do not deserve the wrath of hatred and stuff. So I hope you had a moment to think about it on Monday and remember those that perished, those in our industry, our first responders, and all of that Monday. And it's we don't ever want to get to the point where it's just another day that we're not remembering. It's important you share those stories with your kids or young ones so they understand. For the most part, they don't remember. I mean, my kids don't remember, obviously, and I always ask them, what do you remember from it? And it's important that they understand what it was like, where we were at, because someday it's going to really matter for sure. Okay, Star.com has an article, tragedy in Toronto. Apparently a man, 52, was the second worker to be killed in an elevator accident last 2 weeks. This is a new construction project. And apparently, as according to reports, the elevator mechanic or technician, something fell on him and he was killed. Another worker was also injured, but not with life-threatening injuries. So, as the article reports, this is a second accident that has occurred in 2 weeks. So let's do our part. Let's figure out what, let's learn from any kind of fatality or accident so that we can prevent them in the future. I read somewhere that if companies spend as much money on security as they did on safety and training, people would be safer. Bottom line. Okay, 4stateshomepage.com has an article, apartment complex elevator issues, vendors working on the issue. Again, these are one of these stories in Joplin, Missouri, where you read about, the elevators don't work, blah, 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 and all that good stuff. And I don't mean to, discount it or whatnot or take sides, but speaking from experience, there's a lot of the time you'll see that there's payment issues, there are other issues at bay, and nobody really wants to hang each other out to dry, because ultimately it's a customer, and but at the same time you got to get paid for the work that you've done. And I'm not saying this is the case, so don't quote me on it. Don't send me to court. Don't put me in a jury box, or don't call me about it. It's just all allegedly stuff, my opinion only, as most of the comments are on the program. Okay, sad news to report. We have been talking about the woman that was that had called asking for help or saying elevator was filling with water in Houston as it relates to the Hurricane Harvey, and unfortunately and sadly, the body of Jill Rennick, 48, was her body was found in the near the luxury hotel's elevators, but not in the elevator apparently. So it's terribly sad and tragic, and just a reminder that one of these deaths or fatalities is too much. And this drowning and not knowing quite what to do. I think we need better hurricane plans in place so that people understand what to do and what not to do. I think we just all take things for granted, and then we think the world is a warm, fuzzy place sometimes, and it's just not the case. Okay, if you're a Radiohead fan, and that's a music group, if you're asking, if you're wondering what the heck I'm talking about, there's a cool video that he put together, and Tom Yorkie, don't ask me how to pronounce it, not very good. It's a really cool video, and it takes place in an elevator. It's nice to see elevators getting this kind of publicity, and it's just neat how the doors open and the floors change, and you can tell this is definitely a set based on the panel that's shown in the video itself, but just kind of neat, so check it out. Hong Kong's longest escalator system, there's a video on that, you can check that out. It's on CNN Travel. It's an outdoor escalator. I just wonder how long that's going to last in terms of reliability. You know, one of those things. I've seen some nasty escalators out there that just look like they should be scrubbed with a hazmat suit. So hopefully this one can withstand the outdoor test, as well as people using it for everything from a bathroom to a garbage receptacle. All right. Plans for outdoor elevator have been grounded. This is Lafayette College had an ambitious proposal to build a 170-foot elevator to reach Easton College Hill, and it's been put on off hold indefinitely. Do you think that excuse me, it's a $9.4 million Skyway project? Do you think that's the best best way to spend our money, or tax dollar money? You know what I mean? So, and the college is looking for was promised $1.5 million in state aid for it, and then they asked for an additional $3 million. But it's like, come on, and all for a good view, right? Yeah, we think it's going to be a great view once we have this elevator, so that everybody can enjoy it. Jeez. Oh my God, I love our industry and I love elevators, but at the same time, it's like, let's use some common sense here. And I see this a lot. I see this a lot with government projects, and it's like, just blows my mind away the waste that's out there. I'm like, are you kidding me? Yeah, anyway. Okay, Wisconsin Elevator Symposium is fast approaching. That'll be in 2 weeks. Looking forward to that. We'll have a booth, and it's at the Grand Geneva. Always a great time. And it's fast approaching, 28th to 29th. Pretty cool. Malaysia, this is a terrible video. If you want to watch it, go ahead. It's awful. It is awful. Oh my God. Just looking at the photos, awful. It's apparently it's a video of a boy getting his hand stuck in the escalator side. I mean, it's awful. There's a need. There's a need to educate people. Either that, or let Darwinism take effect and survival of the fittest. Because let the lions get the weak. I don't know what to say. And on that note, and again, I said it was going to be kind of a shorter show. I did want to post again the Safety Riders cutout packet. If you are traveling anywhere, or you have little kids or grandkids, please print this out and give it to them. Let them color it in. In today's world of technology, I got to tell you, it's nothing like a box of crayons to make your day or your kid's day a day. All they got to do is print them out, pretend they got an elevator. It's cool stuff. And then take photos and share them with the EESF. Cool stuff. Anyway, we'll see if we can generate a Safety Rider cutout movement. Yeah, I think we can do it. Anyway, well, that's going to do it for the show this week, everybody. I'll be back next week. If I've got new news to share on anything, I will definitely do so. Again, those of you in Florida, I'm so glad things were not worse for you. And if there's anything that we can do here on the Elevator Radio Show, spread the word. Please let us know, and we will be there in a heartbeat to do so. Okay, so without further ado, have a great rest of the week. Be safe out there, practice safety, and we want to make sure everybody goes home each and every day. And at the end of the day, it's only an elevator. It can wait till tomorrow. Don't rush if you don't need to. All right, so have a great rest of the week everywhere, everybody. A great week, and we'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.